Welcome back to the official Atari Games podcast. This is Jason here, and I'm joined by Mark, the producer on Haunted House, and we are going to play some Haunted House. That's all we're doing this episode. We're not doing anything complicated. We're not doing anything weird. I got no news to say, though we might have some news next week. We actually will have some news next week. There's going to be a lot of cool stuff happening in the next, let's say, month or two as we round out this fine year, and we'll have a lot more to say in the coming weeks and days, etc. But for now, next up, Haunted House, coming out. Did I have too much accent on that when I said haunted? Haunted. Why do I sound like I feel like I'm doing something weird when I say haunted?
You sounded great.
Great. Okay. Well, they're keeping this in, by the way. It's not cutting that.
Of course.
Haunted House is next, coming out October 12th on everything. You name it. PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, PC through Steam and Epic Game Store, and of course the Atari VCS. So right now, if you're watching the video, if you're listening to audio, let me just put it this way. If you're listening to the audio, one, thank you. Two, you should review it on your podcast service of choice. Three, go watch the YouTube video because we're playing the game. Like right now,
you're going to be missing out.
Yeah, so I'm in the house right now, walking around, controlling Lynn, who's our protagonist, or one of our protagonists. I'm just going to go through here. I'm going to explore some of these doors here. Let's just quickly take a little milling about here. All right, so Mark, why don't you got me? Where am I?
You're in the basement. You're in the basement of the Graves, Zachary Graves mansion. Cool. This area is obviously locked at the moment. As you progress farther in the game, you get the keys that'll allow you in here. And I don't know if this is a spoiler, but there, as Jason mentioned, there are multiple playable characters, and the way that you unlock the other characters are beyond those doors.
All right.
I guess maybe I'll say that.
Great. So I don't have keys. Oh, here, look, it's an Atari room. Let me go into the Atari room here.
Mm-hmm.
What do we got here?
Here we have, the mansion's live-in nerd. You can talk to him, and he will start giving you some extra side quests in the mansion. I guess, to take a step back, this is Haunted House. So you are going to be exploring this dilapidated, spooky mansion, trying to put together the pieces of a shattered urn in order to trap all the ghosts that have escaped from that urn, and also to find your uncle and your lost friends. And then in addition to that, there are some fun little side quests, and one of them was given to you by the dork in that other room to find some long lost Atari cartridges that are strewn about the mansion. So that's a little bit of extra gameplay in there. As you play, it's a roguelite, so it's going to be a different layout of the rooms each time, different items and enemies and NPCs that you'll find. So as you progress, occasionally you'll be finding these Atari cartridges. There's a couple other collectibles there that correspond to quests from other NPCs that you'll find as you progress further in the game.
Cool. And I was just looking at the place where you upgrade. Now, you say roguelite, but let's be clear. It's not quite like a roguelike where you have to go through the same thing over and over and over again, right? So we're about to see a little glimpse of what I mean by that.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, first we would consider it a sort of an action-adventure game. I think roguelite, or this game is a roguelite, but roguelike or roguelites, they sort of connote certain things, I think, for certain types of players, and in terms of maybe like a certain difficulty floor or sort of certain hardcore expectations. And this game, I think, is much more approachable to a wide breadth of players. But to mix it up and to add additional variety, every time you explore the Haunted Mansion, you are going to have sort of a different play experience and see new things that are going to surprise you and, be killed in a number of different ways. Each time you're going to be sent back to the start. But as you progress further in the game, you'll be able to unlock higher floors within the mansion, which will allow you to skip ahead to different sections of the game too. So we think of it as a sort of an adventure game first with roguelite elements in it.
It's also a stealth game. I mean, let's be real. This is a stealth first experience. I should
That's true.
I should get this out of the way, is that this is probably the first time we've done one of these where we're playing a game and talking about a game and we actually don't have the developers on with us. We just couldn't make the timing work. It's no disrespect to our friends at Orbit. but they just couldn't join us at this time. All right, so
Oh,
here we
yeah.
go. I finally entered. Oh my God, this guy he just stole something from me. Why did he steal something from me? What is going on?
All right. So when you enter a new room, there's going to be an objective that you need to complete in order to kill all the enemies and unlock the doors to the next rooms. So Jason right now is struggling trying to destroy some of these enemy characters. There's a number of different sort of mini objectives in each room, and that's part of the roguelite element. Is every time you enter a new room, there's going to be a different objective that you need to complete. Jason's very bad at this game, so that's why he died instantly. No, it's also part of the nature of it is like you're intended to die, and then you're going to start over, and you're going to get a little bit stronger because you can upgrade your character, and you're going to learn a little bit more about what to expect in the haunted house, which is going to allow you to, use that extra little bit of experience to progress farther. So, what happened to Jason is partly a skill issue, but also, But to give him just the benefit of the doubt, that's also sort of baked in. To the genre, but baked into this game that you're going to be learning as you play, and we wouldn't expect you to play through the entirety of the run without dying. It's certainly you're intended to learn as you fail.
Right. So I'm not going to make the same mistake twice. All right. This
Yeah.
guy, he's going around. He's trying to steal my stuff. There's no way. He's not taking it. You see that? Just go right around him.
Boom.
Just kind of snooping about. Oh, okay.
See, Jason knows what to expect there, but for the unsuspecting player,
Just let it happen. Oh,
my God! See, this is a proper horror game.
Yeah.
Just kidding. There's spooky elements. I'd say that certainly with the subject matter and it being, it's the spooky season in a few days here, or heading into Halloween. It's the right time for a game like this, and there's a certain creep factor as you're exploring this haunted mansion. But again, it's very approachable, and I think sort of the aesthetics sweet spot that we are hitting here was in the kind of like Amblin Entertainment vein of like a Goonies, that kind of thing, like Spielbergian. So it may be a little bit of thrills and chills here and there, but overall, we're not trying to like jump scare you too much here. It's definitely sort of a all ages affair.
Worth noting that each floor, so there's four floors in total, right? 3 or 4.
Yeah, there's 3 main floors and then the basement, which is where we started with those locked doors.
Yeah. So in the as you progress through each floor, it gets more and more like horrifying, these enemy designs. So
it really does. Yeah, I was playing recently some of the upper floors, and yeah, some of them actually get a little spooky. There's some unnerving sound effects and design for some of the monsters here. I think that's one of the strong points of the game. Really, is like our overall art direction is super cool. It has like a really awesome aesthetic, and that's both in the monster designs, but also just in the way that the rooms look, and especially with the roguelite elements. Every time you play, like the assortment of furniture and the trappings of the Zachary Graves' bizarre mansion are all going to be different. So it adds a lot of visual variety every time you start over.
Yeah, there is. I mean, for me, these hand monster things, horrifying. Don't want to see.
Yeah.
Don't want to be near any of those things. The first time I saw the concept art for them, it made me upset, but in a good way. In a good way. That's the fun thing about games like this is like you're supposed to see these most horrific things, and then you're just like, oh my God, this is the worst, but I love it.
I guess we're plumbing the depths of the. Yeah.
There's that really spooky enemy that has like what are those things? Like the horns for ears.
Oh yeah. It's blind but has very sensitive hearing.
Right.
So if you make too much noise around it, it'll attack. That's a spooky one. There's another one with a sort of what seems to be crying old woman, but then as you get closer, there's more to the story. That's one I was referring to before that has some pretty good SFX attached to it. Very unnerving as you're exploring. That's in the upper floors here. I guess we could talk a bit about also what is happening, what Jason is doing. So he mentioned it briefly, but it's really important to note that this is primarily a stealth game, which also sets it apart, I think, from other similar-ish games in the genre. The times where you're just sort of rushing headlong to fight all these monsters that's probably the time you are going to get wiped pretty quick. It's much more about skulking around. You can see right now Jason is using this shoulder button to sneak, and most of the objectives are not combat based. Like here, it's to find this hidden idol in one of the chests and place it on that blue dais you're seeing at the top of the screen there. So really, it's much more about using the environment to skulk past enemies, and then also using the items. You can see his item bar at the bottom there to momentarily incapacitate or trap or distract enemies to be able to complete the objective. So yeah, it's something else I think that really sets the game apart. It's funny. It's also there's a slight learning curve to it because we've demoed this game a bunch, and people, as much as we try to explain, it's a stealth game. When people just pick up a controller, they're like, I know what this is, and they run immediately headlong into the first room and just get completely annihilated. And then the next time they're like, oh, I get it, and then it sort of all starts to click as the stealth mechanics become more like ingrained in your playing.
Right, and that dive is also a very useful thing to have as well.
Oh yeah. There's a dodge, and you can see there's a sort of stamina wheel at the top of Lynn's head there. That's how she can run and also use her dodge mechanic. So there are certainly ways to if you do get caught, to get out of harm's way. And also, as soon as you complete the objective for the room, it destroys all the enemies in it. So it can be like a race against the clock too, as the enemies are sort of all coming to get you. If you're able to, in this case, destroy the ghost chains using a lantern, if you're able to do that before they all attack you, then you'll wipe them all out, and then you get to reap the rewards of the treasure chest that's in every room. Combination of coins, which are like soft currency you can spend in a run to buy items and upgrades, and then gems, which are the hard currency you use in between runs to give yourself permanent upgrades to things like your lantern power, your stamina, your health, stuff like that.
All right, I need to ask an honest question. Have I earned at least some respect back following that first run?
I mean, this is just the first floor, so this is the intro stuff.
Mm-hmm.
No. Yeah, you're doing great. Hey, look at this. So
this guy? You
have found an NPC. It is your uncle's private chef, Jacques. He, poor guy, is also trapped in the mansion with you, and even worse off than you, he's lost all of his cooking gear. So as you progress through, similar to finding the Atari cartridges, you'll also be looking for different kitchen accoutrement. As you find those and bring it back to him, you'll get gems and other bonuses. And he'll start giving you a little bit of his life story too, and kind of have some pithy remarks about the items you're bringing. So it's just with these kind of games, you always want to be surprised. He's not going to be there every run, but if you on the certain run, you open the right door. Hey, there's Jacques. Hey, and I can give him back his ladle. I've been hauling around.
What's Jacques gonna do without his ladle? The guy needs his ladle.
He's not doing anything. He's just waiting for you to bring back all of his gear.
Yeah. Let's look into one of these some of the items I got, because I just got I'm carrying around this duck, and it's telling me it's fun. It's fun in the bath.
Well, that part's obvious, but it also has a in-game use, which is it's used to distract enemies. So, yeah, there's a pretty cool codex, which is what Jason was just thumbing through, which as you encounter the different enemies and NPCs and items and locations, you'll have a little bit of color about each of them. So, yeah, there's actually quite a bit of lore kind of baked into the game. It's not all surface level. It's as you're playing, as you're talking to more people, as you're doing more quests, as you're exploring further, you'll get bits and pieces about what's going on. I think that is that's just a sort of added layer of engagement with the game. You can also just like ignore that and just play. But for the people who want to know like what is happening here, you can dig into the lore a bit. And I guess spoiler alert, also it's fairly similar to the plotline and lore of the original game, which I guess that we haven't even mentioned yet, that this is a reinterpretation of a classic Atari 2600 game called Haunted House, which has the same plot basically, where you're trying to piece back together the pieces of a shattered urn. So yeah, this is sort of, you need to get that guy in the light. I don't know what's going on with him. There we go. Try it right now. Oh, geez. I don't know what's happening with him. He eventually will, once you're in the dark, will turn into like beast mode. Yeah. There you go. There we go. Yeah. I think that was a recent change, that he's only vulnerable when he's in the Hulk state.
Great.
Otherwise, he's just happily hopping around. And most of the time in the levels that don't require you to defeat enemies, it makes it a little bit easier to avoid him, because you just need to make sure that you're staying in the light as much as possible. But here you actually need to get him into the dark in order to then be able to kill him. Oh, God.
Got me.
So one of the upgrades that Jason will have accessible to him if he gets enough gems are the power for his lantern. So that's going to make the objectives where you need to clear out the enemies in a room much easier.
Yeah.
So, that's a little sprinkling of combat that we have in there. Once in a while you'll be getting that. Yeah, he has enough. Enough gems. He can upgrade a few other things here too. The number of slots in his inventory, how quickly his stamina recovers, all that kind of good stuff. So these are sort of classic roguelike trappings that, as you continue through the game, even if you're like, it feels like you're starting from scratch, you're getting progressively stronger and stronger.
Yeah, let's see. Let's see if I could do one more. I'm gonna try one more run here and see how we can do. Because at the very least, I want to give some preview for the boss, because we got a unique boss on the floor, and that's where things get weird.
Totally. Yeah, there are objectives over per floor. There's a boss on each floor. The boss of this first floor is Kuka. He's a spooky old witch, very classic, with a big bubbling cauldron. You'll eventually find her. But before you face her head on, there is a challenge room where you need to collect 3 boss items, which then allow you to eventually face her. So we haven't found that room yet, but it's like a really cool like stealth challenge room, much bigger than any of the other rooms that Jason has encountered so far. And you need to skulk around, avoiding both Kuka, who is like, sort of wandering around the space, and also just normal enemies that you find. And once you find those 3 items, that allows you to progress farther. And eventually, once you get to the boss room, you'll be able to use them to initiate the big boss fight with her.
12 seconds. 12 seconds.
You got this.
Oh, I don't think I do.
Yeah. I don't know if Jason's seen this one yet. This is one of the newer additions. Is this survive the enemy room. Yeah. Boom. That's pro gamer moves right there.
That was rough, because took a lot of my health down. Oh, good. I got the bunny slippers. Those are helpful.
I guess we should give obviously enormous shout outs to our development team, Orbit Studios. They're based in Sao Paulo, Brazil. This has really been their brainchild. They pitched us on a handful of different game ideas attached to Atari IP, and this one really stood out. Just in terms of being able to, it's like what we're always trying to do here at Atari, is like find new ways to reinterpret our classic IP, sort of bridging the gap between like what made those games special with what are the advances in sort of game design and sort of the industry over those decades since the originals launched. So to be able to translate kind of the feel of those of the original Haunted House into this roguelite was really interesting to us. And their previous game is also an isometric adventure game called Retro Machina that we liked a lot. So it made a lot of sense to work together. And they're great. Wish they could be on this call with us, but I'm here representing Brazil, representing Orbit.
Yeah, the game also really leans into their strength. Like if you play Retro Machina, which I recommend because it's also quite a good game, is they really have a knack for this great hand drawn art. So immediately, like before we even actually gave the full game a green light, they made this prototype of it very quickly, and it already had like a ton of gorgeous hand drawn assets in there. So we were like, yeah, cool. This is what you could do, and you could do more of these with more time. Yeah, all right, go for it. Do the thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's kind of what led to the initial kickoff of this game.
Yeah, and the times that we've, like as I mentioned, we've demoed the game at PAX West. We also did it at Play NYC here in New York. And Orbit did it in Sao Paulo too, part of the big festival.
Right.
It's people are immediately drawn in by the art style. It's very arresting when you see it, especially up close. It looks amazing. And then it's like, come for the art, stay for the gameplay, and the stealth and the spooks and the thrills and chills. So there's a lot here, really. Like
it's got something for everybody.
This is just a small sliver of what the game has to offer in terms of levels and enemies and bosses and other playable characters and other NPCs. So it's a robust package. There's actually a lot of content built in.
Yeah.
There we go. The thing that Jason is doing here, what I don't think we mentioned yet, is the stealth takedown, stealth kill. So as you can see, once he maneuvers behind an enemy, he can press the X button to do a one hit kill, which is super useful because I think you've seen before in Jason's fumblings that the time he's had to face enemies head on, it's much tougher. I'm just kidding. You were doing great.
I look like somebody who has never played this game before, when I've actually played this game a lot. So, although I will say the last time I did it, I did have their God mode on, so I did see that room where it's like survive for a minute, and I literally just stood there. Oh, here we go.
No problem.
Okay. Well, here she is. Here's.
And this is and Spooky, who I don't think we've met yet, who is your kind of your spirit guide through the game. He kind of gives you the lay of land about what's happening. He used to work, before he was in the afterlife, when he was in the normal life, he worked with your uncle, Zachary Graves, and now he still haunts the mansion, but sort of happily. So he's there to give you tips. Oh my God. Run! Get out of there!
Yeah.
Oh boy. Jeez. All right. Eventually she'll de-aggro. There you go. So in this room, there's 3 boss items. You found one of them, which is the stinky cheese. And I think if you go to the left there, the room opens up. Yeah, right there. There's two other items here. Yeah, past the narcoleptic. Oh God. And you can see this, but for the people who are listening, all the enemies have a vision cone. As you walk, if you're sneaking like that, you don't make any noise. But if you're walking, there's a ring that emanates out from you, showing how much noise you're making. So some of those sort of core stealth trappings are in the game too. And straight up, like you can hide behind a bookshelf. Let an enemy sneak past you. You go behind them for the stealth takedown. That's all available to you here.
Why is she constantly?
She's just looking. This is her home.
Yeah, it's not her home. She has invaded this space, and now she's invading my space.
Well, she's made herself at home.
Okay, well, now she's okay. Good. Oh my God! No!
Yeah.
Oh God! Rollerblade.
Yeah, and really, God. Ultimately, this is a story of of hubris too. Not yours, Jason, but of Zachary Graves, because he's the one who collected all these ghouls and ghosts and trolls and witches in the first place, because he is sort of a renowned paranormal investigator and treasure hunter. So he's the one who found and trapped all these monsters in the first place, and turned his home into this reliquary of all this, all these spectral anomalies. And so when the urn breaks, which hosts all these monsters, ultimately I feel like that's on him. So there's a reason to, if I was Lynn, I might just be like, you made your bed. But she's a better person than I am. So she's the one who says, all right, we gotta go. We gotta go save our uncle.
Well, she's determined. She's very determined.
Absolutely. You haven't talked to the butler yet, Oswald.
I did before. But I'll talk to him again.
You did? Maybe?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So he will give you a key, which will allow you into the basement. Yeah. And then as you get a little farther in the game, you'll get more keys. But also, talking to him will bring up a menu to upgrade the decor in this entryway. So for scratching the itch of people who are I don't know if you're any homescapes, gardenscapes super fans out there.
I had my moments. What was the? Yeah. There was a. I forgot what it was. It was some sort of like game like that I got caught into in a big way. Oh my god, it was bad.
I feel like I remember you telling me about it, but
I played a lot of it.
So that's kind of just for fun. You can over time upgrade the look of your of that entryway there. A little sense of accomplishment as you beautify your uncle's home while you search for him.
Something about the basement kind of puts me at ease versus the rest of the house. I don't know why. Is that weird?
I don't know.
Oh my god! Never mind. Giant, it's like swamp thing just jumped out at me.
Sure did. You gotta look out for the bubbles.
Oh,
you didn't look over the bubbles at all.
I don't know what to tell you. All right.
You can dodge through it too.
Yeah, I think. Oh man, there's.
Oh
my god, I got inverted controls. Okay.
Yeah, you got cursed.
I lied about being at ease. I was at ease for the moments that I was not being attacked by monsters.
Yeah, this isn't really a game about being at ease. But
it is a game kind of about like taking your time, right? Like the more aggressive you are, the worse you'll do, and that's generally how it goes. So
that part is definitely true.
Which, like any other games like this, it's like the more you panic. Oh, I gotta get in over there. By the way, these rooms they're all randomly generated, so not guaranteed to get this. You're never gonna get the same thing twice.
Absolutely, yeah.
So you always gotta never make assumptions, and always be ready for the worst. Like me, who can't look at bubbles. You know what? Screw this. Here we go. Ha!
Well, you're absolutely right about if you're charging in, as I mentioned before, like you're going to alert an enemy, and then if you just try to run away willy-nilly, you're going to alert a bunch more, and then all of a sudden you're in deep trouble. So it's what's that about prevention versus something, whatever?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Exactly. Yeah, it's much easier to avoid conflict in the first place than it is to escape once conflict has begun.
Exactly.
But luckily, you have this item bar too in the event that something goes wrong and you do have to run away from some of these ghouls. You have things at your disposal in addition to be able to just like blow them up with your lantern.
Yes, when it gets powerful. And that's the other thing about the different characters. We didn't really touch on it, but each character that you unlock has their own strengths and weaknesses. So you're able to, so if you want to be that guy who plays more offensively, there's a character that'll enable that instead of having to grind your way to, to getting those stat boosts. Oh my god.
Yeah, exactly. They have between health, stamina, lantern power, they all have in stealth. They all have different strengths and weaknesses. So yeah, as you get farther in, and unlock more of the PCs, you'll be able to kind of tailor the play experience to how you want to play. But I think still stealth, broadly speaking, is your best bet most of the time.
Do you have any as you were the producer on this, do you have any fun behind the scenes tales, stories, things you want to share that you can share?
I guess it was fun to figure out the sweet spot for the aesthetic and character enemy design for this, because of, we wanted it to be scary, but we wanted it to be not too scary. We don't need spooky, but not scary. And I remember some of the initial art we got from them was like horrific. So absolutely bone chilling. So it was fun to work with them to kind of like hone that in and land on the visual design that we have now, which I think, like I said, hits a sweet spot between being like creepy but kind of fun for all ages.
Yeah. And again, some of this stuff is still kind of creepy. Also, there's spiders. Did we say there's spiders in the game?
Yeah, there's spiders. There's puppets.
Oh,
there's
yeah, the
creepy
puppets.
old dolls. There's like,
God. What is it about
stuff.
dolls? Like, at what point were those dolls created and they weren't spooky? Was somebody like, yeah, kids will love these?
I don't know. Yeah, I have a toddler, and a gift from someone was like a doll from I think it was maybe from my wife's parents or something. We got a doll that was like old, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's like, I'm sure at the time it was a perfectly reasonable toy, but just having it on the shelf, like next to other like stuffed animals and stuff, it's creepy. There's just something about it. And I think that's just a universal, I don't know, old dolls. Ugh. So you'll find that here. You find it in a Resident Evil village, right? That's some extremely creepy old dolls there.
Now, let me ask you another question. Is Zachary Graves a hoarder? Like, why does he have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? He's got like a dozen washer machines.
That's in this reality. The next time you play, he might only have one. So who's to say? Yeah, I mean, if you really dig into from like a decor perspective, if you're thinking of it as like an interior designer, he is a lunatic. Like, It's completely insane. But I think it works. I feel like it's at least it's a consistent aesthetic. Who doesn't have like a waterlogged basement with hundreds of barrels and
I mean, the way I see
it,
if you have a basement to begin with, you're asking it to be waterlogged, right?
Yeah, of course.
We as people, we're not meant to have basements.
To be underground.
Think about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
When you're right, you're right.
I mean, inevitably, something's going to go wrong in a basement. So just don't have basements. Seal them up. Seal up basements. This is starting my campaign, anti-basement campaign.
You need to move to like a shoreline community.
Oh,
no basements.
Swamp Man's just chilling. We're just hanging out. We're buddies now, me and the Swamp Man. All right, how much should I just go until the end of this basement area here, which might be this very room?
Sure. Yeah, eventually you'll face a boss.
Cool.
But maybe that's something we want to hold back on. Okay. So people experience it for themselves.
I thought I had the thing. Did I not get the item? Oh,
I mean, it might not even matter because you might just die.
All right, look, hang on a second. You don't know that. Look, I'm gonna make it through this room at least. Bam.
There you go.
See that? Look at that. You're gonna talk smack, and here I am getting through it. All right. Sorry, we can't all be the producer on this game.
Yeah, we worked on it. Jason is being demure, but he worked on this game too.
That's true. I did. There's a bit of coverage as well. They were showing me some of the spooky designs. I had to face them myself when you were on paternity leave for a little bit.
Exactly. Yeah.
I was just like, where's Mark? I need my safety blanket. Freeze! Oh no!
You missed him.
Thank you. What? Roller skating.
But when you run, you'll go way faster. So yeah, that blue chest there is for these specific rooms, the destroy all enemies rooms. That's like a replenishing chest of items, so to give you a chance to fight back. if you don't have any when you enter the room, because it's way harder to obviously just face them like one-on-one.
Oh, no, that's not the
That
place I
works.
wanted to go.
I know, but you did it.
Oh, turn around. Okay. Oh, come on! What's wrong with you?
Eat your cookie. Oh boy.
All right, I think that's the end. I think we've done it. We've played a bunch of this game. I'm trapped in the mansion. I'm here. I don't think there's anything else to say on this. Well, thank you, Mark, for joining. This is good. This has been a little bit of a let's play on Haunted House, again, coming out October 12th.
Very soon.
And that'll be available on everything. Let's recap that again on this. I'll say it in a different order this time. On the Switch, the Xbox One, the Series X and S, PS4, PS5, PC through Steam and Epic, and of course, the Atari VCS. So be sure to check that out. It'll also be available physically, right? Like you can buy that in stores shortly thereafter, I believe.
Yeah, that's right. I think it's in the U.S. only, in North America. But yeah, if you be sure to search it out if you don't want to get it digitally, and then you can enjoy the beautiful box art.
Yeah, exactly. It looks kind of like this background here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can see the little kids back there, and we have some alternate art too that you'll see. I think somewhere else on the box there's a cool like kind of 80s movie poster vibe, showing off the different playable characters.
Yeah, so it's good stuff. We'll look out for that. Game's great. Good work to you, Mark, and the team at Orbit.
Thank you.
And yeah, we look forward to seeing what the rest of you guys think. Thanks for joining. Oh, and of course, I forgot to mention it, but leading up to the release, the best thing you could do if you're like, even if you're thinking, I don't know about this, head on over to Steam, click that wish list button. It's the easiest thing you can do to support the team, and we recommend doing that for all of our titles, but especially the ones that are coming soon. So,
yes, please.
Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Again, if you made it this far, that means you probably like it. So, hey, you should give some words of encouragement in the comments below if you're watching on YouTube and took my advice earlier. And if you're still listening on audio feeds, wow. Thanks still for listening to that as well. And head on over to review us on iTunes and your podcast service of choice. And thank you. Until next time, thanks for listening.
Thank you.